In this video, you learn how to save hours of time using PowerQuery. And first, we'll merge multiple Excel files into one. Then we're going to clean up and transform the data using PowerQuery. And finally, we'll upload it back into Excel where we'll analyze it using pivot tables. And best part is, none of this requires any coding. So let's get into it. Let's suppose that we work as analysts for a beverage company, and each week we receive orders from the retailers who've ordered from us. And you can see right here that we have 3 different retailers, and each of these is going to contain the data set with what they've ordered. So our goal is to first merge this into one Excel file, then clean it up, and finally analyze it. So let's take a look at the first one. Looking at the dataset, you can see that the contact here probably doesn't need the retailer right next to it, as we have that to the side. And then for the region and state, we should probably separate these into different columns. And also, if we have the price per unit and the unit sold, we can probably calculate a column like the revenue and maybe add a few more columns as well. So to do this, we're gonna close out of this Excel file and just open a brand new one. Once that's open, we'll go over to data. Then under get data to the side here, we're gonna want from file, and more specifically, we want a whole folder. So we're gonna go over to from folder. Here I have the retailers saved as a separate folder, so I'm just gonna be able to open that. And you can see here under this preview that we've got the 3 Excel files that we wanna merge into one. So we're gonna go down towards the bottom where it says to combine, and we want to combine and transform the data because we want to make some changes there. Then let's just click over the data, and this is where we'll be able to preview everything. So this is looking good, and I'm just gonna hit on OK. This opens up what's known as a PowerQuery editor, and if we go over to that first column, the source name, and we click on that drop down, you can see that we now have all 3 Excel files into one. So let's get started transforming this data. And first, we can remove this column, so we're just gonna right click and hit on remove. Then for the contact, we said that we didn't quite need the retailer part, so we just want the name, which is Anna in this case. And for this, what we can do is head over to the transform tab to the side, and then we're gonna go over to extract. And specifically, we wanna extract a text before a delimiter, which is gonna be the space for us. Anything that's after the space we want to remove. So we're just gonna put the space there, so just one space, and we're gonna hit on OK. And now you can see that we have Anna, and if we scroll lower down, it changes to Stuart, and there's no retailer after that. If you wanna go back on any of these steps, you can actually just go over to applied steps on the side, and if you hover over and click on the previous one, you can see that that goes back. If we click on the latest, you'll notice that that changes it to the new one. Similarly here, you'll notice that we have the order date and the payment date. So basically we could calculate the number of days it takes us for an order to get paid. For that, we just need to select the payment date column, hit the control key, and also select the order date. And this time we want to go to add column because we want a new column that's going to tell us the number of days it takes for payment. And then under date over to the side, we're just going to click on the drop down and go to subtract days. Awesome.
Wow.
Now you can see that it takes us 30 days to receive payment. Sometimes that's higher all the way to 60s, and it's back to 30s over here. So maybe these high ones are worth consulting further. Now we can rename this column just by double clicking on it and call this something like days to payment, and just hit enter there. While we're over here, let's also work on creating a revenue column, which is just going to be the price multiplied by the quantity. So we've got the price per unit here and the unit sold, which is a quantity. So we'll just select both. Under add column again, we're gonna go over to standard, and we want the multiplication. That's gonna give us the revenue. Let's double click on the top here and rename this something like revenue and just hit enter there. Then for the revenue and the price per unit, we can probably change this to currency format. So we just gotta click on the button here on these icons and just change it to currency. Same thing goes with the price per unit. Just click on that icon there and change that to currency. Finally, we've got the region and the state over here, which we want to separate into 2 separate columns. So we're just going to click on it, and from here we're going to go over to transform, and then we want to split the column. and we're gonna split it specifically by these 2 dashes, so by a delimiter. That's gonna be not just 1 dash, but 2. And then we just need to hit on OK there. And you'll notice that we now have the region separated and the state to the side. So let's call this just region. And then we're gonna call this one over here just the state and hit enter there. Once we've imported and transformed the data in PowerQuery, one thing we can do to visualize it is use Power BI, which is the industry-leading business intelligence tool used by 97% of Fortune 500 companies. If you want to learn how to use it, you can check out our brand new Power BI for Business Analytics course. In our all-inclusive curriculum, we start with data cleaning and transformation using PowerQuery. Then we get into data visualization tools, followed by DAX or data analysis expressions, which is what you would use to build formulas in Power BI. Then, to simulate real-world scenarios, we'll practice using 2 extensive case studies. One will focus on building a profit and loss dashboard from scratch on Nike, while the other will focus on visualizing McDonald's European restaurant operations. So if you're looking to level up your Power BI, you can check out the link in the description below. Alright, back to the video. Now that we've merged and transformed all this data and we like the way it looks, we can go back to the Excel by going over to Home, and from here just hit Close and Load. That's gonna load it up into an Excel file. So you can see right now that we have this Excel table, and if we click on that drop down for retailers, you'll see that we have all 3 showing, so it's merged the Excel file correctly, and you can see that the formats here all look correct as well. To analyze it, we can head over to Insert, and then just click on Pivot Table. We're okay with this range, and we're simply gonna hit on OK. And so now we're able to do things like grabbing all 3 retailers and putting them under rows, and then we can go ahead and select the revenues, seeing that under values. We can even go ahead and split that by beverage brand. I could put that under columns, and here we can see what that looks like. Suppose we're happy with this, but our manager tells us, hey, I forgot to give you 1 extra data set. Is that okay? So the problem now is that we've imported all of these, we've changed the formats and everything, and yet we have 1 more data set, so we're gonna have to go back. But actually, using PowerQuery, there is a way to work around that. So going back to the computer folder, and you can see that right now we have this 4th one called Retailer Walmart. Now we need to see if we can add it over here. All we actually need to do here is go to Pivot Table Analyze and just hit on Refresh All. And you'll notice that we now have that 4th row, which is gonna be Walmart, which is the one that we just imported now. The reason for this is because using PowerQuery, it's just detecting everything that's inside of this folder. And because we added a 4th file to the folder, that's being detected and accounted for here. If we go over to the retailer's data and click on that dropdown, you'll see that we also have Walmart in here. That's an overview of how PowerQuery can save you hours of time. If you want to learn how to automate further, check out this video over here, or check out this link over here to take our Power BI course. Hit that like and that subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.